Hey everybody, it's Mike over at Taxes and Bricks. Well, welcome to episode 33. You might notice something different. I'm in the car. Why am I in the car? Why am I recording this while I'm driving? It's tax season, so gotta be efficient. Use my time in the car wisely. Since I can't do tax returns in the car, I guess in theory I could if I had a chauffeur, but as you can see, I don't. Record a video. Keep my eye on the road, so for those of you who are wondering, I'm not looking at the camera. I might if I stop at a traffic light, make eye contact with you, because I love you. Again, welcome to episode 33. It's Mailbag Friday. A couple of sort of reminders. Mailbag Friday, I always change the names and facts of the questions enough so to protect the innocent. Also, another announcement too. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button below. Subscribe, share our content with your friends, leave a comment or another question. Always answer them, always read them. Because most of this is going to be tax related, I'm going to go ahead and throw up a little disclaimer and pay the lawyers, the solicitors, as they say, the barristers. And then I'll be back and we'll jump right in the mailbag.
This video is rated TAX and contains occasional ramblings, mild attempts at humor, self-deprecation, irreverence, brief numerical examples, and adult tax and accounting advice that may not be suitable for all taxpayers. Viewer discretion is advised. Before following any of the advice in this or any of our videos, you should always consult with a tax professional. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. Well, first question I got came in from Bob. Okay. Bob sent me an email earlier this week. He's been investing in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin throughout the course of 2021, like many people. Bob asked me if it was okay that the platform he was using to buy his cryptocurrency was not going to issue him a 1099-B. A little background, 1099-B is the tax form you get when you sell a stock or bond or mutual fund or investment type deal. Bob, most of the platforms aren't issuing 1099-Bs. Why, might you ask? Well, the law doesn't really require them to at this point. And so, being that, most people, if the law doesn't require them to do it, don't do it, these companies aren't. That does pose a bit of a problem because the 1099-B usually has all of the data that we need to report gain or loss from the sale of some kind of an investment. So, Bob, what you need to do is you need to contact the platform you're using, and if they're not issuing a 1099-B, ask them for what's known as a realized gain and loss report for 2021. What that will tell us is when you bought the Bitcoin, how much you bought it for, when you sold it, and how much you sold it for. And from that information, we can figure out what your gain was or your loss. Hopefully it's gain, because, hey, I always like it when people make money. And it'll also report to us whether the gain is long-term or short-term, aka held for more than a year or less than a year. Okay. Next question came in from Jane. All right. Jane wants to know, because she's got a home office and she did a significant amount of landscaping work and improvements to the outside of her home, whether or not she can use a portion of the landscaping bills to, help her on her taxes as a deduction for home office. So, she's using like 10% of her house as a home office. She wants to write off like 10% of the landscaping bills. So the answer to that question, very simply, Jane, is no. Why? Well, I know Jane. I know what Jane does. She's got a business for sure. She is sort of in kind of small business consulting. And Jane doesn't really see clients at her home. Even if she did, I still don't think I would let Jane do this, because I think that in general, unless you're looking at a commercial space that's 100% used for business, I just don't think exterior management and maintenance of your house is one of those deductions that you should be taking. In general, it's just not something that I would do, especially given the fact that Jane really just doesn't have the kind of clientele, foot traffic in and out of her home that, say a commercial building might, or an office building or something like that. So, Jane, I'm going to go no. on the landscaping, but I hope it looks beautiful. Great landscaping. Good job. All right. Next question came in from John. John, he basically told me that he had a relative who was a citizen of another country, not a U.S. citizen, die during 2021. And this relative, I believe it was an aunt of his, left him a little bit of money. And originally when they settled the estate, I mean, it wasn't a lot. There were a couple of heirs and beneficiaries, and John got a little bit of money. We looked at the situation. Turned out there was really nothing to report. I mean, it was just, cash. The estate kind of settled everything, and just basically, kind of sent John a check. I mean, they actually wired him the money, but whatever. We looked at the numbers. We looked at the amounts. We looked at the sources. It turned out there was nothing to report. It wasn't, interest income or dividends. It wasn't capital gains. It wasn't some kind of an overseas retirement account or anything like that. So John was free and clear. But then later on, John found out something interesting. So he thought that was the end of it. He got his money, still sad about his relative passing away. But he found out later on that in settling this estate, actually, they had an account that they couldn't liquidate. He didn't know about this. They had an account that they thought they were going to be able to liquidate, whoever was dealing with the estate overseas. I believe this was a country in Europe, by the way. I can't recall exactly the country where it was. But anyway, the rule was with this account, they couldn't liquidate it. What they had to do is they had to transfer ownership of the account as a whole to John and the other beneficiaries, okay? And it turned out that actually it was kind of a lot of money. Okay, it was several $100,000 US dollars. And by the time it was all said and done, John, during 2021, had his name placed as an owner on a bank account overseas. Okay, that definitely his portion had a value over $10,000 US. And also, it was over $50,000. So John's got 2 reporting requirements now. So what are the rules here that are kind of leading us here? Well, the rule is this. In general, if you have either signature authority or ownership of a foreign bank account, so even if it's not an account that you own, but somebody puts you on there as a signator, and that account's value rises above $10,000 during the course, even for a minute of any particular tax year, you have got to report the name of the bank, the address of the bank, the account number, and the high value in the kind of account, like checking, savings, brokerage, pension, whatever, for the year. And you've got to report that on your 2021 tax return and any tax return for any year where the value of that account is over $10,000, again, even for 1 minute in the year, okay? So long as you either have signature authority or you own the account, okay? Even if you're half owner in the account, like it's a joint account or whatever, okay? The second requirement is for any foreign asset, not just monetary, but like, let's say, I don't know, there's a house overseas and you're part owner in a house, or I don't know, a yacht, or a collection of Rolexes. I don't care what it is. If you have any assets located overseas, monetary or non-monetary, and the value of those assets in general and collectively is over $50,000, you've got another asset reporting requirement that you have to do. A lot of people say, well, why? Well, first of all, it's the law. Second of all, why not? I mean, I've been doing this a long time, always report it, always encourage my clients to do it, because it's not that this information is taxable. It's not like all of a sudden, poof, out of nowhere, you inherit some, account, or you happen to be working overseas and you open up a bank account in France and you transfer 50 grand in there, that the government's going to somehow be all upset or, crazy mad at you or whatever. They're going to be mad at you if you don't report it, because then it looks like you're trying to hide something. Don't do that. Just report it, because the penalties are sure, the penalties are certain, and the penalties are severe if you don't adhere to these rules. Okay, so bottom line for John here, we're going to report the ownership of that account because it's over 10 grand for sure, and we're going to report the account again because it's over 50,000. Okay, so all right, last question I got this week was actually from a relative of mine. My birthday's coming up, so I got this question, and I'm thinking I understand why. Birthday's not really for another couple months, but, whatever. But this relative's apparently been watching my insane, really crazy videos, and wanted to know if I ever receive Lego as a gift. Yes, I have, and I am always super appreciative of it, and I get gift cards because sometimes people don't know what it is that I like, or I don't know, if you know me, I'm kind of one of those people where if I want something, I just go buy it. I don't know, whatever. If I want something bad enough, and I'm not one to ask for things, so I'll just sometimes just get a gift card from somebody, which is amazingly generous, and I can't even, I almost feel weird kind of accepting it from people, but, because, hey, listen, that's free Lego for me, so I'm happy about that. So yes, I do, get Lego as gifts from time to time. I'm registered at lego.com. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really not. But, so anyway, the other part of that question was, do I ever give Lego as gift? Yeah, obviously to like my kids, my daughter, and I've given away a couple of sets. I've sent a few sets up to my dad, who gets irritated and PO'd with me for doing that because he feels like he's obligated to put them together, but apparently doesn't like it. I gave my in-laws a set that they promptly returned to me, and then I put together, and is now on my Lego shelves. Woohoo! So send some gifts out. Usually I try, if I see something that I think somebody's gonna like, I'll send it to them. It's funny, whatever. I got another friend of mine who's, he and I share a love of the show The West Wing, and so I sent him a Lego version of the White House. Whatever. Anyway, all right. Well, that'll wrap up Mailbag for today. Thanks for joining me while I'm on the run from the law. No, I'm not really on the run from the law. I really wish my life was that interesting. It's not. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like button below, comment. I always respond and read all of them, all 12 that I've received in the last 2 months. But definitely subscribe, share content with your friends, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk to you later.